Good evening, and we are live on the air with OmniBros Live. I'm OmniDog from OmniDog's Vault. Here with me are my fabulous co-hosts from Near Mint Condition, Omar. Omar, how's it going?
It's going, man. It's going. How's it going with you guys? Everybody have
So far,
fun
so
tonight?
good.
Thanks for joining everybody in the chat right now.
Yeah, not many people have seen DeadPool, so we may not get the DeadPool 2, so we might not get the most viewers ever, but the viewers that are watching are going to get a good show. God damn it. And speaking of God damn it.
Okay, wait, calm down. First of all, they can go and watch it and then watch this episode later on when it's not live.
I guess that's true. I hadn't thought of that through.
Stop with your blasphemous mouth, man. Who else is on the show with us tonight?
That guy Ryleymo, the Omnibus Collector. Riley, how's it going?
It's going well. It's definitely I'm doing some laundry, just folding some clothes here.
That's very decent of you.
It's an exciting life, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you can't say OmniBros don't live on the edge. We push the envelope.
Yeah.
If you stay tuned long enough, you'll see me clean my bathtub too.
I'm sure I'll knock Nemo cola juice all over my laptop before I see that.
So, speaking of laundry, who's our sponsor, Jess?
Laundry. Well, if you want to get 50% off on your up to 50% off on your collected editions with 2 to 3% loyalty discounts tossed in there with sales a lot of the time, plus every quarter an OmniBros live discount, fabulous packaging, fabulous customer service, and in the United States, over $50 gets you free shipping. That would be iHeartInStockTrades.com. Don't do iHeart first before you type in InStockTrades. It's just InStockTrades.com. They're our fabulous sponsor. We love them. They tolerate us. It's perfect.
We should get some iHeart IST shirts, though.
iHeart.
Absolutely. I would wear one.
I would too.
So tonight you guys wanted to discuss this little movie that just came out recently, DeadPool 2, right? You want to do a spoiler-free review first and then talk about the spoilers in it and then talk about our favorite Deadpool stories or Deadpool books?
Sure. That sounds good.
Cool. All right. So let's do a spoiler-free review first then for the people that haven't seen it yet.
Spoiler free. Okay.
What's up?
Riley, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Just getting up. What did you think of the movie, man? Was it better than the first one? Was it what you were expecting a Ryan Reynolds movie to be?
So I liked the first one. I thought it was good. I give it a solid 8 out of 10, I guess, if I have to put a number in there. I didn't think I liked the first one as much as a lot of other people did, but I still thought it was a good movie. The second one, I did not really think much of the trailers. Like, I thought it didn't really sell me that it was going to be anything great. So I went in with kind of lowered expectations. I also didn't realize that it was the director or one of the directors of John Wick, which I'm a fan of those movies, because I knew it was not the director of the first movie. So I went in with a little more hesitation. Then when I found out that it was the John Wick director dude, I was like, oh, well, I like those movies, so this one should be good. And I kind of heightened my expectations a little bit. Went in, watched it, had some laughs, had a good time. Overall, I'd say I thought it was pretty much the exact same quality as the first one. But my big issue was I thought that the plot was a little frenetic. There was a little bit too much going on all at once, especially in the first act of the movie. It was just like scene coming out of this who knows where, scene doing this, scene blah blah blah, and it was just like all these different scenes that seemed kind of unconnected. And then all of a sudden when it came together, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. But at first it was really frenetic and I had a headache, so it wasn't very fun for me to sit there being like, wait, why is this happening and why is that also happening? But once it came together, I thought it was really solid. X-Force was pretty fun. I liked a lot of the characters. There was some surprises thrown in there. And by the end of the movie, I had a lot of laughs, and I enjoyed it pretty much the same as I did the previous one. And my wife said that she also enjoyed it, I think, about the same as the previous one. And when I asked her, where do you rank it with the X-Men films? Because when we come out, we usually rank the Marvel movies every time. And she responded with, I don't know, I don't really give a fuck. So, therefore, that's her take.
It's a good answer. Jess, what did you think of the movie?
Riley is so much more analytical than I am. I'm
me and you are usually good.
I like the movie. It's about about as deep as I get.
He throws around big words, man.
Yeah, he sure does.
Shit, let me get my thesaurus out, dude. Oh, that means good.
I went yesterday, and I was surprised at a lot of things that ended up getting. Okay, no, that's a spoiler. I was surprised and delighted. I loved the first movie, and I loved this movie. I'm going to see it again with my daughter next week because she loved the first Deadpool, and quite frankly, there were so many references in it that I'm sure I missed half of them, because that thing was going like this, like Riley was saying, it was moving fast. There was a lot more setup, I think, in the very first movie, and this one just boom, hit the ground running, and like he said, it was jam-packed and going from the very beginning. So I know there's a lot of funny stuff I missed, which is fine. I'm looking forward to seeing it again, so I pick it up. I liked. Okay, let's see. What can I say that I liked? I love the humor. I love the references. I'm disappointed we didn't get to see Marina Backer and nude in this one. Oh wait, I take that back.
Spoilers, dude.
Oh, I didn't say that. I think Ryan Reynolds has a gift for comedy. I think he's really funny in this movie. I thought the jokes were funny. I loved all the characters and the character. I mean, you do have to be up on your pop culture and probably comic book movies to really get the full effect out of it. There's so many references in there to all kinds of things, including Marvel movies, including DC movies, including this and that. And I thought it was, I loved that it kept poking fun at itself. To me, that was great. And it just, I just thought it was great. I can't wait to see it again. And I can say without spoiling anything, excuse me, that the post-credit scene is almost the best part of the movie to me.
Okay. So the director of the original movie, Tim Miller, walked away because of creative differences.
Okay, that's way more than I even knew. I don't even know who directed this.
Who Riley said, one of the directors of John Wick.
David Leitch or something. That's his name.
And I think I can kind of see why that happened, because I really wasn't that big of a fan of the first act, like the first act of the movie. I think I know what you're saying. You enjoyed the jokes and things like that, but to me, I thought that was a little bit of lazy writing. To harken back to movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, just pop culture references that go back to other movies. It reminded me of the running joke in Family Guy. It makes you feel special because you get it. You're like, oh, I get that reference, therefore I'm smart. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to me feels like lazy writing, which is funny because he says it in the movie. Saying that, as soon as X-Force showed up, I enjoy the shit out of this movie. So the 2/3 of the movie, the last 2/3, I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. So maybe because it was maybe too much Ryan Reynolds at the beginning and not enough control or directing. He kind of just had free range as to what he was doing. Maybe that was my issue with it. But I really enjoyed the last 2/3. Like I said, as soon as X-Force shows up, I had a ball. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is funny. So
see, I don't even. You guys are way more advanced than I am. I just see movie. I don't see first, second, third acts or introduction. I barely even understand setup and stuff. You guys are way more analytical than I am. I just like, there's a movie on and it am good.
Well, maybe that's the way it should be, though. That's good that you're like that. But then, do you not like? But then, does that mean you don't enjoy artsy movies, though? Like, how did you feel about The Fountain, or like, and I'm just using that as an example. Like, do those put you to sleep, or 2001?
Well, I love 2001. I've seen that a million times, but I'm not a big Darren Aronofsky fan. That's one guy that, yeah, I'm not. I do love. I love foreign films. I do love, and I'm not just talking about Hong Kong chopsaki movies. I'm talking about, like foreign films that are, subtitled and from French or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I dig those movies too. But I'm saying it as a compliment that you guys are so analytical that you've got it broken up into acts, and the first part sagged for you, and I get that. And I forgot that the director left because of creative differences, and I still haven't seen the 2 John Wick movies, which is my bad, because I apparently really need to see those badly.
Can I also suggest you watching Keanu after watching the 2 John Wick movies? Because Keanu is fucking brilliant.
What is?
The cat movie?
Yes, you guys haven't seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay, I fucking love that movie. Yeah, watch it after you watch John Wick. Now, you saying that, though, I know what I'm getting when I walk into a Deadpool movie. I mean, I'm not expecting fucking Gone with the Wind or I know what I'm going to get. But I think I was just breaking it down by the time. Like, I remember not enjoying, like, the first act. I was just like, maybe they needed to tone down the pop culture references. But I really liked it. I thought I called it, though. I knew that was Rusty. That was cool.
I mean, you can, if Jess, you want to break it down in layman's terms, we could just say like the first 30 minutes of the movie or something.
No, I get it. I understand. I look at movies more as a whole. I never have thought of it that way. That maybe because I enjoyed the whole thing. But no, there are movies. I'll tell you a movie that the first act was slow, and then the second and third acts ramped up, and you're not going to like it because it's a Wes Anderson film, Riley. But Island of Dogs, I thought was really picked up and got really good. But the first part of it was pretty dull to me. So yeah, I can relate to what you're saying about the first act of this movie not ripping you up. I get it.
I love the dynamic between Cable and Deadpool. I think I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
Then, so maybe what I meant at the beginning was less Deadpool, more interacting with other characters, because I think that's when he really shines.
I agree.
I absolutely loved it because it reminded me of Cable and Deadpool. This kind of grumpy old militant character having to interact with this goofy ass clown that happens to regenerate. I think it's great. It's a great dynamic. I would watch a fucking Cable and Deadpool movie if they made 10 of them.
I think that the idea of too much Deadpool and Deadpool working better as a character that can interact with others kind of is probably why myself and a lot of people think that Deadpool's part in Uncanny X-Force, the Remender series, is some of the best Deadpool work, because you aren't getting too much of Deadpool in your face, and it's like every other issue, every few issues, you get a really, a funny Deadpool scene, but it's not one of those things where you feel like the writer's trying too hard to just, put in random moments just to be funny, like it is in the Daniel Way run. And with that, I think if they do the actual X-Force movie that's been planned for years now, and have Deadpool as a part of that film, that could possibly be pretty successful. Just letting him kind of be the the comedic relief character, and then have the other characters not be such, like in this movie you have Cable, and you also have Domino as another lead in there, and she had funny parts, but she was mostly playing the straight girl to Deadpool's funny man, and a lot of her funny parts were because of her reacting to or doing something in addition to something that Deadpool had done. So I think that if they do, like I said, pull through with this X-Force movie they've been talking about for a while, and they have it with Deadpool and Cable and Domino and whoever the hell else they want to shove in there, it could be pretty good.
Are we ready to talk spoilers?
I was a big fan of Domino.
Yeah, I thought Domino was great.
The whole does she really have powers or not question? I thought that was funny.
Yeah, they're not very cinematic.
I thought it
was in the trailer, so no spoilers there.
No, just like the way that her powers are shown in the movie, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Is there any other spoiler free? Other than I'm a huge fan of X-Force. That's all I got.
Okay, me too. So let me type in spoilers start now. Yoink.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay, now this is the part where we spoil it. We're going to talk about our favorite scenes, our least favorite scenes, the baby legs, and everything. So get off if you. Okay, wait. Cycle Cleveland wants to know if you took the Akira box set. If you took the Riley, if you took your Akira books out of the box and put them on your shelf.
It looks like it.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna stare at a black box. I bought the books for the books, not for the box. I have like other boxes for sets like up in my closet, because I don't buy it for the box, I buy it for the books. So, and this is a lot more interesting looking than a shiny black and red box.
Like the one that's sitting on my floor right there for the 8th month in a row that still has the cellophane on it, like that.
Oh, Jess.
I'll take that Spike Spiegel figure though.
I am pretty pumped up about this. I love this.
Yeah,
I have to hang this up. I'm not even going to take it out of the package. I love
you
it so much.
mega nerd.
It's mint in package. I don't want to take it out of the bubble.
Take it out of the bubble.
Jess doesn't deserve the Spike Spiegel figure because he talks shit about manga and anime.
But I love Cowboy Bebop.
He loves Cowboy Bebop, so he's got semi-good taste.
And I love Samurai Champloo. So.
He's got two good tastes.
He's got two good tastes.
He
Right.
likes Shinichiro Watanabe. Apparently.
Yeah. Space Dandy. I dug that. You should watch that.
I like Studio Ghibli too. I watch a lot of those movies with my movie buddy.
Everyone likes Studio Ghibli.
Oh, God, harsh my buzz.
I think it's great, man. I like the fact that you enjoy watching that stuff. I think the movie was interesting because it tried to have a lot of heart. So they killed off Vanessa, right? Which I guess
Boom,
at the beginning of the movie, and kind of like in the style of those James Bond chicks, or it reminded me a little bit of Austin Powers too at the beginning when they kill his wife, or a fembot or whatever it was. So I guess she's not copycat, so I'm okay with that. You know, she's just a human being in the movies. So then it's about redeeming himself, and he's trying to kill himself to try to make it to heaven or wherever she is in the afterlife. And she keeps telling him he has a purpose. And I love the fact when he joins the X-Men, he keeps bitching about like, where the hell is everybody in this big ass house every time I come here? So I thought that little scene was funny when he opens the door, or no, he misses that the door is open with all the was it Quicksilver and
Oh, and Beast.
Yeah, I saw
Beast.
those two at least.
And I think Professor X was sitting there too.
Probably.
So I thought that was pretty cute. And I like now I'm confused as to who this character is. The girl that's dating Negasonic teenage warhead. So is she the girl that was Yukio from the Wolverine movie, or is she supposed to be Surge, or is she just because is it a different character?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't Wikipedia'd it, so I'm not sure. I was just confused in the movie because I thought it was the girl from the Wolverine movie that was Yukio, which is his lover friend in the comic books. But then in this, she looked more like, or she had the power of Surge.
I loved how she always went, "Hi, Wade."
Yeah, very Japanese and cute, huh?
Yeah. Hi, Wade.
So I loved his relationship with Colossus of all the X-Men. I thought that was pretty interesting. Considering, like, in the comic books, there is not that much of a dynamic. I don't, between Colossus and Deadpool. I really can't think of any particular issue where that has happened.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's really that dynamic there. I think it was just something they created, maybe because they weren't able to use a character like Cable. Or actually, I think there was something to do with, because of the fact that they could make him 100% CG. That might have been why they chose to use Colossus.
I could see that, yeah.
There was a reason behind the choice, and it had to do with the presentation of the character, but I don't 100% remember it, but yeah.
So joining the X-Men, he goes and sees Rusty Collins, which is the character that appeared in X Factor 1, the skinny white kid with the red hair.
Yep.
And now is played by this kid is he from New Zealand? Because I remember he was in that one movie. Okay, that's what I thought.
That other Taika Waititi movie.
Yeah, that I thought was like a family movie. Totally not. I started watching with my kids.
I love that fucking kid though. Like I did
too.
Movie, I loved him in that movie. And my brother-in-law, like my brother-in-law's a big comic book nerd too, and so he'll go and see the movies and ask about stuff, but he hates fat kids. Like he's like very yeah, I guess so. And this time, like, because he hated
it's a thing.
It's apparently a thing, but
What?
he hates fat kids,
Like
and
Cartman?
so I guess so. Like for instance, when Spider-Man: Homecoming was coming out, he was pissed off that Ned Leeds was a fat kid, and he's like, "Why'd
That's
they make
fat
Ned
shaming."
Leeds into Genki?" And so this time, I was like, "Dude, you hate fat kids because you're a fucking fat kid."
Self-loathing.
Because he was really big growing up, and now he's not. But I was like, that's the only reason you hate on the fat kids. But I was like, dude, he was fucking hilarious. Like that kid, I love that kid.
So I thought it was a pretty interesting casting choice, but it worked. So he gets them out of that fucking home. They get arrested and they get sent to this pit. Like, what the hell is it? Like the vault, I guess.
I thought it was a little bit too Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Like,
oh, okay.
Like it was a little bit too much like the whole prison scene in that movie. Right down to like everyone wearing the yellow jumpsuits and shit. Like that, it was okay. Like it worked. It wound up being fine, but it just at first I was like, really? Or we just had this like 4 years ago.
I found it interesting that they decided to use Black Tom Cassidy.
Yeah.
And
who the hell's he?
He's kind of like Juggernaut's sidekick.
Oh.
And he's what's his name? Banshee's like brother?
Uncle.
Okay.
Uncle, I think. Yeah. I think it's his uncle.
They're related.
Yeah, and he played a big part in the first Deadpool miniseries, because Deadpool shot the shit out of him in like issue 15 or so of X-Force. Oh no, it was during the World Trade Center. So issue 3 and 4 of X-Force. And so like half of his body when he shows up in the Deadpool miniseries is like made of wood. So yeah, he didn't like I don't think he ever used his powers, right? Before he got killed by Cable.
Yeah, no, he didn't. They didn't have any.
That I thought was funny. He was like, "You killed Black Tom
You
Cassidy, you
racist.
racist."
Yeah, I know.
The recurring joke throughout.
Yeah, I dug that.
I did too. I I have to say that I love the baby leg scene where he was regrowing his hat because Juggernaut ripped him in half, and he was regrowing his legs. That just was so odd and weird that I thought it was. And he kept then he crossed and uncrossed his legs like in Basic Instinct, and made a reference to that.
You kept looking.
Really funny.
You kept looking, didn't you, Jess? Right in the middle.
I was trying to see. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to see.
I was too. I was like, "What's down there?" So speaking of Juggernaut, how did you feel about Juggernaut? Like, Ryan Reynolds voiced him, right, and did the face cap for him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was told that by my wife later because I was like, who played Juggernaut? But
yeah, because if you look at the credits, we stayed for the credits and it said Juggernaut as himself. And I'm like, okay, there's got to be something behind here.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Real quick though, Tom Cassidy is Banshee's cousin, not uncle.
Okay.
So he's Siren's uncle, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
guess that makes sense. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So the whole time when they started talking about like there's a, he has that scene where he says there's like a monster down there, and he says foreshadowing and blah blah blah. Like from the get go when they start talking about what amounted to be Juggernaut, I was assuming, I was like, it's probably Juggernaut. It's probably Juggernaut. It's gonna be Juggernaut.
I thought it was really a monster.
I'm just glad they didn't use Vinny again from X-Men 3, the last piece of shit. Or whatever. Jess likes that movie. Sorry. I absolutely loved X-Force. Like I thought I know it's so stupid. Maybe it's like the teenager like in me. Like I'm like I enjoyed the gags with the Vanisher. I'm like, oh, he's just a parachute jumping out of the fucking plane. That's awesome. And it turns out to be, and the fact that they all died, like Shatterstar gets like destroyed by this fucking helicopter propeller. The Vanisher ends up getting fried. It turned out to be Brad Pitt.
I know, for 2 seconds.
That was hilarious.
That was really funny.
Terry Crews, who'd been doing interviews about, his first time playing a superhero, why it took him so long and stuff like that, he gets killed like at first. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're going to do. This is awesome. And then, of course, what's his name? The guy from X-Force, Aldred's and Milligan's X-Force.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah. He gets through a fucking tree. Now, he didn't even make it out of one issue of that, but I thought it was cool. And then poor Peter, who we all rooted for. I love Peter. He's the everyman.
And because they have so much like I don't want to call it marketing, but so much like just extra online stuff with Peter. Like he has his own LinkedIn account, and you can like see like he's like a beekeeper and stuff like that. And they put so much depth into his character, and then like literally they kill everyone.
so much depth into his character. My wife watches Film Theory and Game Theory, the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that they had a whole YouTube video devoted to who Peter really is in the Marvel Universe. They were like, he's got to be Peter Wisdom because his Twitter account is based on. And I'm like, no, they're not gonna. There's no way in hell they're doing that. He is just some guy. I thought it was great.
But they definitely did everything to make you think, yeah, that's Pete Wisdom.
They did everything to make you think that this is X-Force. Like the rest of the movie is going to be action-packed, and it's going to be nothing but kick-ass action. Nope. They were in it for like
Immediately.
maybe 7 minutes. I was like, yes, this is my type of movie. So stupid. I wish they kind of had done that at the beginning. I would have probably enjoyed this movie a lot more. But yeah, from that moment on, I was like, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Awesome. So there was Irene Merriweather. I caught that. There was a taxi cab that had a thing that said Alpha Flight. It was like a airplane service. I caught that Easter egg. I think those were the 2 Easter eggs that I caught. And
There was a scene with when Cable first comes in to the present, and there's the 2 like hillbillies talking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is Matt Damon, and then the other one was it Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, from Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
I didn't pick up on Matt Damon. I could tell that was Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, same for me. I could tell that was him, and then it wasn't until later that I found out, like looking online, or maybe my wife mentioned it. She was like, "Oh, did you know Matt Damon was also in the movie?" And I was like, "What?" So that was fun. Definitely some cool Easter eggs. I felt like the entire character of Black Tom Cassidy was an Easter egg because no one knew that he was going to be in there. I think
by some white guy.
there were wasn't there other characters, other surprise characters? Oh, well, I mean, Vanisher wasn't announced anywhere. Like I had no idea.
He was, but you just didn't see it.
Right. Yeah, because whenever they did all the commercials and they were like introducing X-Force, and it was like Bedlam and Domino, and I don't even think they mentioned Zeitgeist. It was just like Bedlam and Domino and Shatterstar, and then Peter. And Peter was the last one that they showed everyone. They're like, yeah, Peter, and you get the scene with him like with the parachute jump, like skydiving, and in the commercials and stuff. And then they didn't say anything about Zeitgeist, and they never said anything about who's played by the dude who plays Pennywise in the new It movie.
Yeah.
And then nothing about Vanisher, which I thought was super. My wife thought that was the funniest shit. Like every time when they first showed up and they were like, yeah, he's named Vanisher, and he's like, there's no one there. My wife was like dying laughing. And then when you see the parachute just like kind of hobbling back and forth and then jump out, like she was just cracking up.
I thought that part was probably funnier than it should have been. I was laughing my ass off. So yeah, when I think as that moment started, it became a total fun fucking ride. I really enjoyed it after that. I enjoyed what they did with the Juggernaut. I liked the weird fight between him and Colossus in the 2 Negasonic and his her girlfriend.
Hi, Wade.
I thought it was an interesting way of taking him out.
Yeah.
It was this I don't know if I want to call it an evolution for Colossus. It might have been a de-evolution where he like kind of breaks his serious character.
Yeah.
And like does things that are a little bit less than serious, and then he actually like Deadpool gets him to say fuck later in the movie and stuff.
I thought the death scene was a little too long. I'm like, I get the joke, but I think those kind of jokes get on me sometimes if they go on a little too long.
Yeah,
the death of Deadpool?
As he's laying there dying, yeah.
And you just keep rattling on about random shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. People were laughing, so it worked. It's just not. It wasn't for me.
I got choked up.
Dude, my wife did too, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "I don't know what's wrong with me." She's like, "I don't know what's wrong with me." When he saw Vanessa.
Yeah, I got choked up when Vanessa got taken out in the beginning. I was like taken aback, and I got a little choked up, but I got way choked up when he finally sees Vanessa. I got choked up when in the first part of his death at the end, before it kept going on, and Fire Fist was crying and stuff, and he had saved him. I got a little choked up at that. But then the best part of the movie was him shooting Ryan Reynolds in the head for reading the Green Lantern script.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was just absolutely brilliant.
It was a pretty funny twist on time travel So
Oh yeah.
I thought it was funny that the two girls were able to fix this disc that Cable has that lets him travel through time, even though he's from the future and couldn't fix it.
Right.
But whatever, doesn't matter.
But
MacGuffin, sure.
it definitely made for a extremely entertaining post credits or mid credit sequence.
Yeah, with him traveling back in time to Logan or
Oh God, that was great. Yeah.
Wolverine.
But it was like it was
Origin.
in each scene increasingly like more and more hilarious because it was like it started with him going and getting, killing the dude so Vanessa didn't die.
Yeah,
And it's
Wicked.
like you're like, okay, cool, he gets redemption. And then the next scene, it's like we're not done yet, and he goes back and saves Peter. But not
Yes.
the rest of X-Force, just Peter.
I thought it was funny that he saved Peter too, and he was like, "Go home."
Stop, just turn around and go. He's like, this was scary.
Yeah, and then he starts going through his movies and killing the Deadpool from the Wolverine Origins movie, and eventually Ryan Reynolds. I didn't even know. I was not expecting that when it's Ryan Reynolds looking at the script, going, "This is your big break, kid."
Yeah.
And he shoots him in the back of the head. And then it's revealed that he's got the script of Green Lantern. I'm like, oh, that's actually really brilliant.
I thought so too.
I was surprised like that they could do those kinds of jokes.
Well, see, that was my question to you guys when you all were talking about like referencing all these other movies, like the Avengers and things like that, Thanos. How in the world can Marvel not mention like adamantium and things like that, like the MCU universe?
You're not allowed to mention that?
Well,
Like
I don't know, because it's almost like it's like saying, what's his face, Voldemort. He's whose name, like, you can't say scrolls, you can't say, like, they always find loopholes working
They
around
don't
it.
even say mutant in the MCU.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Like they say
that's
like
a good one.
gifted whatever, because whenever they wanted to use Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, they had to work around mutant. I think they just said they were gifted individuals or something like that. But
yeah, they called them, what are they, supers or something? I can't remember. But yeah, I find it really weird that Fox was like, fuck it. Yeah, sure, MCU. I mean, so much so that they had a what's it called? The helicarrier in the first movie. I mean, we all knew that's where.
yeah.
So I don't know.
They had that, but they didn't say anything about it. But this one, it was just flat out like he calls Cable Thanos at some point.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
He refers to Cable's arm as a Winter Soldier arm. So
maybe the words went. No, I don't know, man. I really don't. I thought they took a hit, like some kind of copyright thing would be, especially with things like Green Lantern, because that's Warner Brothers.
Right, because the Marvel stuff, you could argue like, oh, they're trying to close that deal. Maybe they've said it was okay for them to say stuff. Maybe there's some freedom with that because it does have Marvel's branding on it. I don't know. Like there are arguments to be made, easy arguments at that. But the Warner Brothers, like the Green Lantern joke, and then the joke that appears in the trailers about like, are you sure you're not from the DC universe?
You're so dark.
So dark. Like, what do you have to? It's probably some stupid answer, but like I really do rack my mind. Like, what do you have to do to be able to do intercompany crossover jokes like that?
I don't know if they have to pay for it, or if they just have a handshake agreement, or they both just laugh at it.
Yeah, that could be it. Like maybe they just reach out and they're like, "Hey, do you mind if we make this joke?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. We like Deadpool too."
Yeah,
that's why we're trying to make Harley Quinn into Deadpool.
Fuck you. Well, we have lost Omar for a second. We've lost video and he must be putting his girls to bed or something, because we've lost video and audio on him. Or maybe he's taking a shot at tequila. No, he'd do that on the air. So do we want to? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Spoilering this spoilery movie?
I think we just about went through most of my thoughts on it. I mean,
Okay, I will put spoilers over in here. Spoilers over. And let me message Mike Curry to come back to the chat.
you're a benevolent host.
You can come back now. Okay. Yada-dee-da-da-da-da-da. And so we can talk about, I did let Michael know. And Jimmy, I have not started Secret Warriors yet because summer's not here yet until Saturday, which is 2 days from now. That is when I'm going to start Secret Warriors on Saturday. So you're a little ahead of me, Jimmy, but that's okay. I can catch up to you.
The Hickman's
The
series.
Hickmanathon, yeah. I'm gonna go for starting this summer. I'm gonna do starting Saturday. I'm gonna read all of Hickman's stuff, all the Omnis and Architects of Forever and the Ultimates stuff and Avengers. I'm gonna read Fantastic Four, all that stuff. I'm gonna read it all. Just
Good.
yeah, because I'm way behind on that.
But now
I've read zero.
You're getting the you waited until just the right moment. You do realize because like you're not gonna have to wait for Shield like everyone else did for like eight fucking years.
Right.
You can read that as the new issues are coming out. You can get it digitally or something, I guess, if you don't want to wait for the hardcover. The second omnibus of his Avengers run is due out in a couple months, so
in July, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it comes out on my birthday,
July 4th.
Yep. So yeah, you're really doing it all at the right time because you won't have to wait for anything, so you can just barrel right through it.
Good, I'm excited.
So Deadpool comics.
Do you talk about you want to talk about our favorite Deadpool comics?
There are a lot of Deadpool comics and a lot of Deadpool omnibus out there. Like,
right.
There are almost no Deadpool titles that are not in an omnibus, which is kind of I've talked about it before, I think, on the show, maybe. I know on my own page, like how insane it is that there's a character that's existed since like 91, and almost every single appearance of his, every major, ongoing and miniseries, one shot is in omnibus format up until like, the stuff from after Secret Wars, which is just a matter of time. But all that said, there's a lot of good stuff too. A lot of that material is not great, but there's a lot of stuff that's good. And I think it breaks down into a couple of different factions. There's like, if what you're looking for in Deadpool is just stupid fun, then there's a lot of stuff for that. And if what you're looking for in Deadpool is more like quality, character driven stuff that focuses on kind of the dark kind of self-loathing humor of the character, then there's a lot of good stuff for that too. So I've read, I think, very much nearly every Deadpool comic. Just thinking about it, I think I've not read part of the end of Daniel Way's run. I haven't read all of the Deadpool team up, and I haven't read Deadpool Core. And there's like maybe a handful of miniseries that I haven't read. But having read most of it, I have some opinions, but I don't want to talk forever. So, Jess, what's a good Deadpool comic that you've read?
I've read a lot of Deadpool, but not nearly as much as you have. So my list is a lot shorter than yours. But one thing I did love was the Posehn and Dugan run. I did not get it in Omni. I kept my oversized hardcovers, but I loved the Posehn and Dugan run. I love especially that he gets a wife and that she's queen of the vampires and Dracula's bride or whatever she is. I need to read this again. I loved it so much. I just dug. I don't have the Omni, which is a gigantic Omni. It's a lot easier to read in OHC, but this I highly recommend Posehn and Dugan's run on DeadPool. This I think the minibuses are kind of a mixed bag, but these are solid, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, that run was really a good return to form for the character after Daniel Way's run, which was really just a lot of dumb slapstick stuff, which is fine, and that's what some people go to the character for. But if you're a fan more of like Joe Kelly's run or even the Cable and Deadpool run by Fabian Nicieza, then having some, like, for so many years the character be kind of devolved into just dumb poop jokes and stuff, which I love poop jokes, but not always what you're looking for. But to see him devolve into that for such a long time, having him come back in the Marvel Now run by Posehn and Dugan was just fantastic, and you immediately got the story. Number one, it has fantastic art like throughout the series. It starts out with killer artwork by Tony Moore, and you get a really hilarious story that starts to set up this new like supporting cast, and you start getting all these new characters like Agent Adsit, which the dead president's arc with all the zombie presidents and stuff. But they do well to introduce all these new characters like Agent Adsit, who's literally just a comic book version of the actor Scott Adsit. You get what's her name? What's the other agent? The one that she's throughout the entire series, but you get like the magic dude that wears the kilt.
Right.
He shows up a lot, and then like you said, you have his wife, who shows up about halfway through that series.
Is it Agent Preston?
Yeah, Agent Preston. God, I couldn't remember her name. But yeah, Agent Preston winds up playing an important part. And it's cool because in the previous run, in the Daniel Way stuff, his entire like supporting cast just kind of disappeared. The supporting cast that he had in other series like Blind Al and Weasel and other characters like that, like those two right off the bat are in the movie. But they just don't appear at all. And it's kind of annoying because one of the things that I know Omar mentioned when we were talking about the movie is how well Deadpool is as a character just bouncing off of other characters. And having a good supporting cast is good because it lends him these other voices and other characters that he can bounce off of, and that makes him sometimes A, more interesting, and then B, if it's about the jokes and stuff, it lends him the ability to play that funny man off of the straight character, and make those jokes and stuff. So in all aspects, having a good supporting cast in a Deadpool book is a positive thing to do. Another really positive, like a highlight of that story, the whole run by Dugan and Posehn, was that what was it, Good, Bad, and Ugly, or arc? I forget what it was called exactly, but it was Deadpool, Captain America, and Wolverine, and it was one of the more like emotional stories that they had in there, and it also had, I believe, really good artwork by Declan Shalvey. Did that story arc. So I don't know. I could talk a long time about that series and just say that it has like honestly everything that you could want out of a Deadpool story. I think that delivers it in droves, especially if you don't necessarily want to read something from the 90s, like Joe Kelly's book, because it's Joe Kelly's series is, in my opinion, the best Deadpool. Like that's the pinnacle. But for some people, they're like, it's a little bit too 90s. It's got a little bit too heavy on the dialogue, and the artwork is a little dated. This one is a lot more modern. Definitely good stuff. Had you read the Joe Kelly stuff, Jess?
I haven't read it yet. No, I do have it, but I haven't read it yet.
It's some good stuff, and that's where those characters like Blind Al and Weasel, like I was saying, and Ajax, who is in the first movie, is in there. T-Ray is another character that's in there, and it's a really solid run that like builds on itself, and eventually once you start to get towards the end, you see a lot of these plot lines start coming together that Joe Kelly had been putting together, and it has a lot of really classic funny moments in there, but as well it has some of the darkest Deadpool moments, like where he like explains the fact that Wade really does hate himself, and he puts himself through all this like torture because of how he feels about himself, and so that like it gets to the darkest depths of the character, but also has a lot of really funny moments.
Speaking of Joe Kelly, here's my second choice.
Yes.
Just reviewed this, and
Yeah.
I loved this book. Spider-Man Deadpool Team Up. It's a brand new one that came out. Michael Curry, this is one you should get. You should get also the Posehn and Dugan Deadpool. Those are two. You asked for three, so Posehn and Dugan Deadpool. The Joe Kelly Spider-Man Team Up. This book is everything you want. It is funny. It is action-packed. It is well-drawn. And as Riley said, he's bouncing off of Spider-Man. And I do think that I agree with Riley that he's great in some other characters. And this book I just loved. I thought it was like a gift, this book. It was so great. I just loved the whole thing.
Now, did you read because the I've only read I think one of the miniseries in the first minibus. Did you read all of that one?
I've read all of the mini buses, but I'm not as good as you are at remembering things. So I can just tell you that I thought the first minibus was okay. The second minibus was better, and then I liked about half of volume 0 of the Deadpool minibus. And no, I don't think this will get an Omni because of Dave K. It's just going to stick with this. Unless, were there more than just this one book?
Well, there's more material after that, but it's not by Kelly and McGinnis.
Okay.
So this just collects their like whatever 10 issues or something, and then after they did their run, there was a few fillers here and there by other creators, and then Robbie Thompson, who was the writer on like Silk, he takes over as the ongoing writer, and he's still writing the series.
Okay, so it's possible that someday it may get an Omni. You never know.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I wouldn't rule it out for sure, especially since they keep doing, like I said earlier, Omnis of everything Deadpool.
Right.
I'm trying to think, because you hit some good stuff on there, and I know Omar talked earlier about the Deadpool and Cable series, and that one has an omnibus as well, though it's a little harder to get. Which if you enjoyed this movie and like the interaction between Deadpool and Cable in the movie, then I would say that omnibus might be a good one to check out. It's been a really good amount of time since I've actually read the material in there, so I can't comment much on the story as much, but I do remember it was intriguing enough that when I bought them like one at a time, I'd get it, finish it immediately, and then the next day I had to go get the next one, because this was before like now I buy a whole series at once, and it's not a very healthy habit, but it used to be where like the series like that, or that's what I did with Why the Last Man or Preacher. Like I would buy a single volume. I'd run to the store. I'd be like, oh yeah, here's $10-15. Cool, I get one volume. That's not too expensive. And then before I know it, by the end of the week, I own the whole series because I've got like one once each day, each afternoon after class or something, and I bought the next volume. But I did that with Cable and Deadpool, and it was fantastic. It's got a lot of good of the humor and stuff, but at the same time, you get a lot of good of that kind of buddy cop between the two characters, between Cable and Deadpool. And then I guess what else is there? Because there's
Well,
there's also the Deadpool Beginnings omnibus, which I
Mhm.
kind of got rid of in favor of the Deadpool and X-Force omnibus, which that contains like the first two miniseries, and the X-Force one has all his it's basically X-Force Volume 2. So if you want to go back to like his earlier appearances, you'd want to grab that. And then another one that I haven't read the entirety of is Deadpool Classic, which that's where there's the Chris Priest run, the Frank Thierry run, and then Gail Simone has a run, and she does the Agent X series. And I've read the Agent X series, but I haven't read all of her run on Deadpool. But Agent X was a lot of fun. And that's like early 2000s, late 90s, I guess, Deadpool material. And there was an issue written by Evan Dorkin in there.
Oh, there was.
Yeah. It was a random issue of Agent X. I don't remember what issue it was, but I know I'm like now I'm starting to question myself, but I'm very sure that there was one issue by Evan Dorkin. And I don't think it really had much to do with Deadpool.
There's going to be a hardcover collection of Dork coming out. Did you read Dork?
No, and I saw that earlier today when I was in the chat talking to Gio about what books were coming out, and I was running through and I was like, oh man, like I think it's next month, because I was like, oh man, I missed that. I didn't see that, and I had to add that to my list, and I'm like, shoot. Not next month, I think it's July. It's like, shoot, now July is going to be really expensive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think those are the issues where the murder family is in and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to that. Michael Curry has a question. I haven't read this book, so this is more to you. Should I bother reading Deadpool Max or just punt it for something else?
I've only read the first 6 issues out of 18, so I can't really say much about it. I know there are some people that really liked it, but a lot of people are not big fans. I would say if you're truly curious about that series, you might want to check out, look up some of the artwork real quick, because it's got Kyle Baker doing that really weird like digital artwork.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know why he started doing that, but he did it in Wednesday Comics with, I think it was a Hawkman story, and it was just really kind of off-putting, and it was weird when comparing that to stuff like his Plastic Man run. So I don't know. Check out the artwork, see what you think about that. I can't really comment on the quality of the story though.
Then the last book I have was actually the first time I actually ever read Deadpool, and that is in Uncanny X-Force. And I enjoyed it more. This shouldn't have been the first book. This was one of the first books I ever read regarding X-Force and Deadpool and Phantom X. And what is it, Archangel in there, and Apocalypse and stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it when I read it, but once I got more Marvel knowledge behind me, I reread it, because that was one of the first episodes you and Luis and I did, was reading some of Uncanny X-Force, and I ended up reading the whole thing again, and I enjoyed it a lot more once I knew who all the characters were. But that is a classically great, as you said earlier, appearance of with Deadpool, where he's not the shining star of the whole thing, but he appears in enough episodes or scenes that he's playing off of other people, and he's really great in it. And of course, this is where I really started to dig the whole Phantom X thing. and I need to read more about him because I love the whole idea of Phantom X, and I think I even got the action figure from you. We traded some stuff for that. So yeah, I need to learn more about Phantom X, but Uncanny X-Force is where Deadpool really shines too.
If you want more Phantom X, so he first is introduced by Grant Morrison in New X-Men.
Right. I have read that.
And then there's not that many appearances of him before I know there's a few, and someone will probably, mention that stuff for me, but there's not that many between there and Uncanny X-Force. But one of the notable ones is the Dark Reign, the List Wolverine issue, where it's like Wolverine and Phantom X in the world, which that pops up later in I think in the Deathlock Nation arc of Uncanny X-Force. And then after Uncanny X-Force, Phantom X appears in the second volume of Uncanny X-Force by Sam Humphries. Then he appears in X-Force Volume 4 by Cy Spurrier. And then he appears, I think the next one after that would be the currently ongoing Astonishing X-Men series. The first dozen issues have been by Charles Soule, and then it gets taken over with 13 by Matthew Rosenberg. So that's
those are two good writers.
Yeah, so there's a good little rundown of Phantom X stuff, and there's a Phantom X Max series, I think by Mike Benson, I think was the writer. I don't remember 100%, but I haven't read that. But it's not in the main universe. It's a Max book, and it's just a 4-issue miniseries. But I found Evan Dorkin wrote Agent X issues 10 and 11.
Okay.
And I think he introduced the character Fight Man.
Fight Man.
I think he created the character. Yeah, he created the character who first appeared in Fight Man #1 from 1993. And then brings him back in a couple of issues of Agent X. So yeah, Evan Dorkin.
So there you go, Michael. There's a ton of stuff that's the Uncanny X-Force complete collections, and enjoy those. Spider-Man, Deadpool still in print, and Hussein and Duggan still in print, so you can get those. Is the Joe Kelly one already out of print?
Yeah, I believe so. And I'm surprised they haven't reprinted it.
Same with Deadpool and Cable.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't put out new editions of those. It would make sense given the movies and stuff.
Right.
But you can get all of the material also in the Deadpool Classic paperback series, which pretty much goes through every Deadpool series from the very beginning. If you grab Classic Volume 1, it has his first 2 miniseries, and I think they're on Classic Volume 20 something now, which isn't even Classic anymore. Now it's adapting literally things that happened a few years ago. So I think it's a misnomer, but I guess that kind of works for Deadpool.
Okay. Good. Well, we've had a good talk about Deadpool. And I'm sorry that we seem to have lost Omar. I keep checking the page to see if he's messaged us, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't see anything from him.
No, I don't either. So I'm sorry we lost him. But do we want? Are we done talking about Deadpool books? Do you want to take questions from the chat? Did you?
If anyone, what's up?
Do you know about the bet that Luis and I have?
No.
We talked about it last night. we were trying to think of a bet.
Did y'all talk about Cable and Deadpool and how great that series was?
Jesus,
Omar,
please started.
Please talk about Cable and Deadpool, Omar, because I have not read it for years. All I could say was that I liked it enough that I bought a volume a day until I finished it.
It is, to me, the ultimate Deadpool story. I absolutely love it. Growing up, Fabian Nicieza gave Deadpool. Y'all like I just jumped in like I wasn't been gone for like 20 minutes too, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm just pretending that didn't happen. That was a time slip. Growing up, Cable and Deadpool were both the voice done by Fabian Nicieza, one of the co-creator of Cable and Deadpool, and he got to write a bunch of issues of X-Force and a couple of miniseries with Deadpool. And I think by the time the first miniseries came out of Deadpool, I could see where that character was going. I mean, it wasn't until Joe Kelly's run that really defined who the character was, especially the later arcs of Joe Kelly's run. But Fabian really gave him that funny, quirky voice. Like he was kind of like the villainous Spider-Man mixed with Deathstroke. It was great. I loved it. So I was so excited that Fabian Nicieza was going to get his own book, because they had a crappy little X-Force miniseries that Rob Liefeld co-plotted. It was only 6 issues, and Fabian scripted it. And then after that, they were like, hey, do you want to write like a bosom buddies comedy, Iron Fist and Power Man book? And he was like, yeah, hell yeah, Cable and Deadpool, let's do it. And it's just so fun, because if you like the parts in the movie and the interaction between Cable and Deadpool, you will absolutely love Cable and Deadpool. I know the omnibus is called Deadpool and Cable because fucking Deadpool. But anyway, the book, it lasted 50 issues, and it is so awesome. Awesome enough that like Cable was dead for the last 10 issues. And it's just like Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool and Doctor Strange, characters that he just kind of teams up with because Cable was dead after Second Coming. So I thought it's probably the best take on Deadpool, because I love the way that he interacts with Cable, because Cable's your straight man, right? He's your militant guy. But there's also so many layers to Cable as well. You get to find out so much more about him. Like how powerful he is. He literally could energize the whole world, but instead he focuses his energy on other things. Like he creates a haven. Oh man, it's so good. I love that. I can't speak highly enough of that run. Cable and Deadpool is the best Deadpool story. Were y'all talking about Deadpool books? Best Deadpool books? Y'all did that, right?
We just trashed the shit out of Deadpool and Cable. We both hated it.
That's because you guys suck.
I haven't even read it, and Riley rhapsodized on it.
You the Ultimate Editions, I just sold them on the group. They're still available in print. They're a little pricey. I think they're $39.99 each. And Volume 3 was out of print for a while, but I think they just brought it back into print. The Omnibus, no idea why the hell that's not back in print, especially with this movie. But that and Joe Kelly's run. Joe Kelly's run is awesome. And I really enjoyed what's it, Duggan?
Hossein and Duggan?
Yeah, I like that run too. I thought it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And Christopher's Priest, some of them were really good too. Some of those stories were good too. I was not the one that stands out that I was not a fan of is the Daniel Way stuff. Never been and Ultimate Deadpool. That was horrible. I don't know if did you get that far in Ultimate Spider-Man, Riley?
I still haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, Ultimate Deadpool was ultimate shit. So yeah.
I was telling Riley, because we had finished our Deadpool discussion and had moved on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, man. I got a call.
That's totally fine. I'm totally kidding you. But I'm talking about the bet that Luis and I have that Luis was referencing in the chat. I realize you guys probably don't know about it. We made it last night on the Wednesday show. For the Halloween show, which is October 31st, and it's on a Wednesday, so it's perfect. I forget how it happened, but he and I have had this bet going. We've had the penalty going, but without a bet. The penalty is somebody has to eat a peanut butter and jelly burger, which seemed to be popular in Britain, which sounds horrible to us. But we hadn't found a bet yet. The penalty was one or the other of us had to do that. And so for the October 31st episode, his girlfriend is going to completely make him up, costume, hat, face paint, and everything, into Harley Quinn. And he's gonna.
What are you gonna do with that, Jess?
Well, we're gonna promote it. We're gonna start promoting it on October 1st.
Okay.
As a way to raise money for Luis's favorite charity, but we have until then to figure out how to get the money directly to the charity, and we don't have to get our hands messy with it at all. He's gonna, if he does, dress up as Harley Quinn, boobs, outfit, and it's the classic outfit, the Paul Dini outfit.
The onesie?
Yeah.
Oh man.
If he dresses up like that on air, I have to eat a peanut butter and jelly burger.
That's it? That's all you have to do?
Dude.
He's gonna dress.
Does that sound good to you? He doesn't want to eat a peanut butter and jelly burger any more than I do. It sounds horrifyingly bad. It's going to have onions and dill pickles on it, and it's going to be awful. I'm going to have a bucket right next to me so I can puke.
I think I would rather do that than dress as Harley Quinn, because A, I may like it.
I hadn't thought about that.
And B, I may like being dressed as Harley Quinn if I go that way. So, I don't know. I think I'm better off with the peanut butter and jelly. It'd be cheaper. It'd be a cheaper hobby.
Okay, well, we're going to turn it into a fundraiser and see if we can raise some funds for this favorite charity of his that he talked about last night on the show. So that is what you can get ready for on the Halloween episode of the Wednesday show. Luis dressed up as Harley Quinn and me eating a peanut butter and jelly burger. If he does it, if he doesn't do it, he has to eat the peanut butter and jelly burger.
Sounds like a fair deal. I see that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure his girlfriend is so into it, he's going to be doing it. I have no doubt I'm going to be eating the burger.
I feel like the peanut butter and jelly burger should not have the other toppings.
Well, that's what's going to make it gross.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is like, that's because I could imagine, and I'll get a bunch of shit for this, and that's fine, but I can imagine eating a burger with peanut butter and some sort of jelly or fruit compote or something on it and enjoying that. Like it's like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and just adding a beef patty to it. That's what I'm thinking. But if you add lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, ketchup, mustard.
Well, I don't have to put ketchup and mustard on it.
But that's all the stuff that I think that takes it to a place where I'd be like, yeah, I can't enjoy that.
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm not supposed to enjoy it. It's supposed to be awful, and it sounds awful. And they're popular in England, apparently. That's what started this whole thing.
Our British viewers are like, man, you guys are a bunch of pussies. Can't handle peanut butter and jelly burger. I'm sorry, wankers.
Exactly. Here's a question from Biggie Cheese. How is Al Ewing's DeadPool run?
I'll let Riley answer that.
He's doing a mini series right now called You Are DeadPool, and it's one of those like you choose the story, or what do you call it?
Choose your own adventure?
Yeah, choose your own adventure. But it's really hard to read it digitally. Like, can you imagine it saying like flip to page 14 and then like you have to digitally do that without having it skip? I don't know. It's really weird to do that digitally. So I haven't been reading it. Like I tried to do the first issue and I couldn't. So I decided like I might try to pick it up when it is collected. However they do that, because I'm sure it would be fun, but I couldn't do it digitally. But I love Al Ewing, so I'm sure it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read a single issue, so I don't know. Y'all talk about Uncanny X-Force, right? As one of the best DeadPool
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Riley.
Yeah,
I figured-
Jess.
I figured
Jess
you
actually went
covered
on about it.
See, that's the kind of interactions I like in my Deadpool. Too much Deadpool for me is kind of what happens when you let like Daniel Way just run amok with the characters.
Because the thing that I said was really a negative for Daniel Way's run is that Daniel Way stripped him of all of his supporting cast.
Yes, and when you leave Deadpool alone, he kind of became like what he did with him when he first introducing the character into his Wolverine run, Origins run, was kind of like the Wile E. Coyote slapstick comedy.
And he gave him, instead of having supporting characters, he gave him 2 additional voices in his head.
That's what I
So
didn't like. Yeah, like
he's
made
talking
him
to
into
himself.
mental.
Yeah, and they retcon it later. Everyone's favorite word. They retcon it later to make it where the voice inside his head, the white box, was
Wait. Did he retcon his own shit, or somebody
No.
else retconned it?
No,
Okay.
it was. I think it was Ben Acker and Ben Blacker wrote this issue. I think I'm not 100% sure. It was like an annual issue or a one-shot issue that came out during the Marvel Now era with during the Posehn and Dugan series, and it was revealed that it was Madcap, the
Oh,
character
yeah.
from the
The
Marvel
hat.
universe, who also has like regenerative abilities, that he and Deadpool for some reason were up against like Thor or something, and Thor disintegrated them with thunder, and they were both in one pile of ashes, and as they, their abilities reconstituted their bodies, it accidentally melded them together. And so that's why he had this other voice inside his head. It was literally Madcap had regenerated himself inside of Deadpool. So this was the retcon that explained the extra voice inside his head.
Gotcha.
Huh.
But it doesn't explain why, because his yellow box didn't always talk to him either. Like I don't think that he always talked to his own voice boxes. Maybe he did in some of the series, but I know that wasn't a gag in the Dugan and Posehn series. In the Dugan and Posehn series, he didn't have any like talking to
Split
himself gags.
personalities. No,
Yeah.
that never happened in any other series, like the Joe Kelly or Fabian Icesa series. I think it was just something he came up with, and I really hated that. And that's part of the reason why I did not enjoy that run.
It's just why would you do that if you could just have a supporting cast? If you could just use Blind Al and Weasel, and did he introduce Hydra Bob?
That was introduced in Cable and Deadpool.
Okay, because he used Hydra Bob in the beginning of the Daniel Way series. He was in there for like the Dark Reign arc, and then he kind of just disappeared. So I mean, he could have kept that character around at the very least and just had some sort of supporting cast.
I've always been a big fan of his supporting cast, and then even the cast that Gail Simone introduced during that whole Rob Liefeld, lawsuit where you can't use the name Deadpool. That was my character, so they had to change it over to Agent X.
Yeah, I talked
And-
about Agent X, and
Yeah.
and it
That
had
was fun. I like that.
What's her name?
Outlaw,
Yeah, Outlaw.
super hot. Yeah, Gail Simone. I really enjoyed Gail Simone's run on that too.
I was talking about there was a couple issues of Agent X that are written by Evan Dorkin, and I talked about that
Yep.
for a second earlier.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And then a couple of issues written by Daniel Way too.
At least one.
Yeah.
Lionheart has a question for you, Riley. What was your very first Marvel omnibus?
Captain America by Ed Brubaker.
Good choice.
Okay. Very nice. He
It was-
asked us that on Monday.
It was that, and then I think I got Death of Cap shortly thereafter. It like my first few. It was like those two, Astonishing X-Men, New X-Men. Like those were some of the first few that I got. But I know that number one was Cap by Brubaker.
You telling me that? I am kind of sleepy.
No, I'm not telling you to go to bed. You're a grown ass man. You can go to bed whenever you want to.
I scared my wife.
You never know what you're going to run into this show when you're watching Omnibros live. Chipped teeth, fried computers, folding clothes.
Yeah, I made
Free
some
game
headway
here.
on that.
Free game here, man. That's awesome. Maybe I should do that. I can't multitask though. I had to. Yeah, I had a call. I had to put you guys on mute for a while. So yeah, I'm not good at multitasking.
All right, what else is going on in the chat there?
Jess is our chat monitor. He's a he's a beast.
Mike F wants to know, what do you think would be the next Deadpool omnibus, not including Daniel Way Omnibus Volume 2?
What's the current run that just wrapped up from the Marvel Now? Not Marvel Now, but whatever the hell it's called.
Jerry Dugan continued writing, and so he just wrapped up his part of the run that does not have Brian Posehn co-writing. So I think that the next few Deadpool Omnis are going to wind up being Minibus Volume 3. There's more than enough material to fill another one of those out. Deadpool World's Greatest by Jerry Dugan is probably going to be across 2 volumes. That just wrapped up with issue 300 last month, I think, and so they're making way now for the Scotty Young run, and then there will probably be a Deadpool and the Mercs for Money omnibus, which will collect that ongoing, the miniseries and the ongoing series by Cullen Bunn.
Well, there you have it. Spoken from the mouth of the Omnibus Collector. The soothsayer of all omnibuses. I honestly, I can see that. That is a damn cash cow for Marvel. They are going to put everything with Deadpool on it. I wish you would have said Deadpool and X-Force Volume 2. That would have made me happy, because I think he made 2 appearances in 2 issues of X-Force.
Well, the one that they put out, that Deadpool and X-Force one, they added the 2 Deadpool minis. So they like shoved that in there to actually make it have more Deadpool material.
When does Riley do a drunk takedown of Convergence?
Ooh.
Now that would be good.
If I had the day off tomorrow, I'll have to organize to where I do a video when I'm not working the next day.
And then you can do that.
And I need to reread Convergence as well so that I can be prepared for it.
Okay, Clarknado. He's got it in his head now.
So I forgot. Speaking of Deadpool, I am going to be giving away the Deadpool Beginnings Omnibus on my channel on Tuesday. See,
nice.
I kicked it to Tuesday, Jess, so I could do the show with you on Monday and Thursday. I had to pull a lot of fucking teeth to do that too, apparently. But anyway, yes, Tuesday at 8:30, we're doing a live giveaway of a couple things, including one of my personal prized possessions. But I feel like I need to share it with other people. It's a issue 26 of Batman and Superman. It's the one that's written by Jeff Loeb's kid that passed away of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's signed by Michael Turner, who is now gone, sadly, and Rob Liefeld and Jeff Loeb. They were all 3 at this convention when I met. So I'll be giving that away too.
Wow.
Because I have another I have another copy of it, so I think, it needs another home, and it's a good story. It means a lot to me. I think it's good. Lost some people to cancer, so. But anyway, that's on my channel next Tuesday, 8:30. Your Mint Condition. Shameless plug. Go read Cable and Deadpool.
Here's a question that's been asked a couple times now. Why do some books get silent reprints with no announcements when they go out of print, and other books need to get resolicited a good time later, i.e. Hellboy Libraries, Invincible hardcovers versus Infinite Crisis?
I feel like that's almost like a thing that Marvel and DC, like the big 2, do that. Because that's who you see do it. Like, you don't see those stealth reprints from the big two. Like they make a big deal out of it. Like in a couple months they've got Fantastic Four Volume 1 by Lee and Kirby and Fantastic Four Volume 1 by Byrne got resolicited. But
they make a big deal out of resolicitations too. Like
No.
You disagreeing with me, Riley?
No, I'm disagreeing with that I fed my dogs.
Oh, okay.
Because I did not.
Yeah, tell the truth. They always make a big deal about their resolicitations too. Like, hey, this is coming back into print. This is the second printing. You want to make sure that you order in advance. Whereas usually what you said though, the stealth reprints are usually Dark Horse, Image, Boom when they reprint Irredeemable. It's bound to happen.
Because that's always a thing where like people will ask, like they'll tweet someone at Dark Horse and then Dark Horse tweets back like Hellboy reprint is actually scheduled for next month or something, and like nobody knows, like they don't say it until someone asks them.
But you never see reprints of big books, and I think that's probably because it costs a lot more money to do a reprint of like Colossal Conan or Sin City, like Big Damn Sin City, like a Dark Horse, right? Whereas those slimmer books like the Hellboy Library, they're probably cheaper to print.
Yeah, those are probably just going to be evergreen books.
As well as they should be. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Are either of you guys reading Snyder's No Justice mini?
I just started reading issue 1. I've been catching up with recent comics. Because I read the Superman special finally, which was awesome.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Oh, okay. I'll download that tonight and read it.
That was much better than Action 1000.
Yeah, wasn't it? I loved it.
Pretty low bar to set.
The special issues, the Action and Superman specials, so much. That's what I was expecting from Action 1000. I thought that it was going to be this big special that not only was going to have like the little short stories and stuff, but also like bigger stories to kind of cap off the ongoing runs.
I love that. I thought it was great.
Oh, now, so should I read? I'm not caught up with Superman at all. Should I read the Superman special? I don't even have Rebirth Deluxe 2 yet of Superman.
I'm sure it will be reprinted in one of those books, but there are 2 stories in there that you don't need to read anything beforehand, but they're kind of the shorter stories.
But I don't think the main story would spoil anything. I feel like it just kind of works on its own.
Do you know that Superman's married and has a kid?
I do know that, yes.
You're good. You're good then.
Okay. Let's see. Wait, there was another one. Here's a question I'm going to ask only because I know it's going to give everybody a chance to laugh at me because I suck.
What?
Lloyd Wong says, how much of each of your collection remains unread percentage-wise?
Man, that is such a good question.
I hate that question.
The last time I counted, it was like I've read 84% or something like that.
That is a precise number. Damn.
That's the last time I counted, and I remember it was. I can get more precise. I think it was like 84.7 or something.
Hot damn.
But I think it stayed about the same place because when I buy new books, most of the time it's like an even amount of books that I've read to books that I've not read, or more books that I've read to books that I've not read. So I want to say that I'm either in the same place or I've read a slightly higher percentage of my collection.
I'm probably 75% have read. And 25% I have not read, mainly of new stuff. So, because I like to read as I get them in, and then I have a giant pile beside me right now of books that have come in the last 2 months that I have not read, and I need to read.
The annoying part is
my answer.
I don't remember what I was going to say about the annoying part, but whatever.
My answer will be the annoying part.
Yeah, Jess doesn't read comics.
He doesn't read good comics.
Take a look around, baby. That's what's unread right there. That whole fucking Marvel Omnibus shelf right there is practically unread.
They're not even opened, you fucking
Jesus.
phony.
Oh no, they're still sealed.
Oh
Because
my
I've got a sickness called the collector mentality where I've got to have it, and then it takes me so long to read everything that I never get caught up. I'm never going to get caught up.
Just here's an idea, and just hear me out. You make enough money that you could probably hire like a really, really hot chick.
Okay, stop right there. I like the idea.
With a really thick, like maybe Russian accent, whatever you're into,
Okay.
and read you these books as she holds up these Omnis, right? And she's reading them to you. You could pay somebody to do that.
I am in love with that idea.
Like,
And if
it could be a different
that is
girl
a job
every time.
position, that is a job position that is now open.
That's so lazy. She can fan you with the omnibus.
Omar, do you have any Street Fighter books by Udon?
Fuck yeah, I do. All of them. Every single one of them. Here's a couple. Remember when I said sometimes I just like books because of the art? This is that time. I think I've read through these maybe like once, but it's most of this is like Arnold Sang or Alvin Lee. This is the classic stuff. I've also got I do have every single one of their hardcovers. The only thing I don't have in hardcover is the Darkstalkers Ultimate Edition. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these guys. Udon does a lot of anime style artwork. And then, you also get like Scotty Young doing like not a fill-in issue, but doing the backup story. This is the old school Scotty Young art, not the new Scotty Young stuff that is sketchier. But who else? Like Mark Brooks, people like that. But one of my favorite, I really like this guy. Alvin Lee is like one of my favorite artists. He just doesn't do enough. But yeah, man, look at those colors. And the books unfortunately just don't come out fast enough. They take forever to come out. But it's Street Fighter. You like fighting and a lot of these characters, that's the reason to get these books. They're a lot of fun. That's all I can say.
Sounds like they're really smart books.
Look, shut up. There's Joe Chen. I love her stuff, man. She's such a great cover. She's a great cover artist, but I wish she would do more internal stuff. And I haven't seen her stuff in a long time. I don't know what she's doing these days, but I'm a big fan of her artwork. Yes, Street Fighter is definitely not smart. It's just fun. Kind of like your Silver Age books.
Sure.
I like how I clumped them all together, right? Silver Age, every single one of them.
I appreciate that. Let me see here. I think it's very interested. Lionheart is very interested in buying X-Men Grand Design. I wholly support that idea. It's a very good book. We loved it a lot.
Yeah, we did a review on it. I guess it was it last week when we did it? It's great. Love it. Look how big that is. And it's kind of semi-hardcover, whatever. I was kind of hoping they would put all 4 issues together and do it. But, yeah, this is cool. I really like this giant magazine style look to it.
So it's like a half-mast cover?
Yeah, it's cool. I dig
half chub?
Yeah. I just noticed that Rob Liefeld gave it some cred in the back, and Jeff Lemire. I'm not sure. I think Lemire wrote maybe a total of oh no, I forgot he did Old Man Logan too. Never mind.
I think he probably did around 40 to 50 total issues of X-Men related material.
Yeah, and probably Rob Liefeld did maybe just about that much too. Pretty interesting that they chose those two to put something on the cover.
Yeah, don't get Claremont or anyone.
The guys that actually worked on the book, or Louise Simonson.
How many issues is that in Grand Design?
2?
2.
2, the first 2.
and it stops right before Giant Size 1. So volume 3 and 4 are going to be Giant Size all the way to 300, right, Riley?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Actually, no, I think is it to 300 or is 300 the end point? Because I think it's supposed to be 6 total issues.
Oh, okay. So maybe the next one will be to 200. So
That
Giant Size to
might,
200.
yeah.
Actually, that might work better.
Because they're probably going to also fold in the other New Mutants, Excalibur, that kind of stuff in there as well.
You know what I loved about this? The best part about this? No
Reference?
mention of Matthew Malloy. Was that his name? The Bendis character that he retconned in there? As
Oh,
being
yeah.
the first mutant? Yeah, fuck that. Good. Didn't happen. Not in Grand Design. But neither did Extreme Adam X, so I'm a little upset about that, but whatever.
Do you guys think that after Nightfall, they'll start making Omnibus with Contagion / Cataclysm to No Man's Land Omnibus?
I sure as fuck hope so.
I don't see why not. Why is DC so slow with these things? It took, how long did it take them to do a Batman Omnibus? Omnis have been around for over 10 years, and they just now got into the game. They're like, hey, guys, Marvel's selling all these story-driven, character-driven omnibuses. Why don't we release some with, Superman or Batman?
And they're still like, I mean, they're picking it up and they're finally moving forward in that omnibus line, but it's nowhere near what Marvel's been doing. They're definitely just at this point trying to play catch up with that.
Yeah, I mean, Nightfall was probably the Batman story you have to collect in omnibus format. It was a huge deal in the 90s, and a lot of people buying these things now are kids of the 90s or were kids in the 90s. So yeah, Contagion, No Man's Land, Murderer, Fugitive, all that stuff. I would love to see that. War Games.
God, No Man's Land would be a great omnibus. Like,
I'm a big fan of that story. Yeah, yeah. You could throw Road to No Man's Land in there. That'd be a good one.
Cataclysm, Road to No Man's Land, and then a couple of No Man's Land omnis. Like,
you could sneak in the first appearance of Harley Quinn in there into the Cataclysm. You could sneak in the Batman the Man Who Laughs right before No Man. That's how I have them in chronological order back there. I did a really deep study on how to organize my Batman books in chronological order. There used to be a website. What was it? It was called like Miller World dot something. It was so obscure. I don't think it's even around anymore. But all they did was they took all the collected editions and put the numbers that were included in there, like the issues that were included in each of the collected editions. Now, I'm sure somebody has done a fancier website since then, but that was a really cool way of like finding what books I needed and what books were out of print.
Yeah, I need Riley to come and organize my books because they are so badly out of order.
Oh, I would have a heyday doing that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think Peter M's site.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Crushing Crisis is probably the closest thing because that's what I use. But sometimes, because he breaks it down, not so much about the collected editions, but more about like chronological order of like appearances and stuff. So I was just looking at like Cable. And there are points where it's like, cool, yeah, this is where all of Cable's issues are chronologically and like the editions that they come in. But then he'll also throw in there like, also Cable appeared here and Cable appeared there. So it's like extremely well put together. But I think just a little bit more than what I'm looking for sometimes.
No, I agree with you. I that's a little too much for me. I appreciate it for the completist, but I'm not kind of completist. Like I don't, unless it's crucial to the story. Like for example, Marvel Comics Presents, leading up to like Wolverine #1. But if it's like Wolverine versus Venom, I really don't. I don't need that in my mapping of what I need to read.
But I did. I used his Batman list a lot when I was buying all those crappy Batman books.
Mm.
And some not so crappy ones, I think.
What was your best blind buy omnibus? Because I know we don't all read some of everything prior to buying it.
Like something that pleasantly surprised me. I have a couple, I'm sure.
Something you didn't know anything about and you loved it.
It's not an omnibus, but I'm just looking through my books right now. Deadly Class Volume 1, the hardcover. I knew nothing about that series, but I just like remember I enjoyed it.
I'll say Fear Agent for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. Damn it, good choice.
I took that strictly on the advice of everybody in the omnibus group and got that.
That was a good choice. Spider-Man the Clone Song. No. Kidding. I'm trying to think of what looking through my DC books. All my stuff is downstairs. All the X-Men stuff I knew ahead of time what I was getting into.
I feel like the only one I can really count as a blind buy is the House of Secrets omnibus from Vertigo.
You think that? Was that Joe Kelly?
No, that was Steve
Seagal.
Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, with Teddy Christensen on the artwork, and I knew like literally nothing going into it, and it was completely just. I almost didn't pick it up, but it was coming out that week, and I was like, it's a cheaper omnibus. I saw the artwork, and I was like, I actually dug it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna see what it's like, and I was very pleasantly surprised by that one.
I haven't read Carnage, but I literally bought it because you spoke so highly of it, so I could be pleasantly surprised.
I hope you are. I've only read maybe half of it, but the half that I've read was good enough to sell me on it.
Okay, cool. Most of the things that I buy blindly are usually oversized hardcovers, like Jason Aaron's Thor, things like that, or okay, well, yeah. Let me see. Totally Gotham's went on a complete blind buy and bought Gotham Central. No idea what the hell the story was about. What
a good buy.
I own the hardcovers. I don't own the omnibus. I didn't upgrade like an idiot. I'm still thinking about upgrading. No idea what the hell it was, and it was like one of my top reads. Some of the best stories I've ever read. What was another book like that? There were other books like that.
Well, there was a lot of stuff that I guess I could say like Jess did about Fear Agent, where I didn't know anything about it, but I bought it off of recommendations. Like when I got the Captain America by Ed Brubaker omnibus, I'd never at that point read any solo material with Cap, and I don't know that I had read any Ed Brubaker stuff before that, but I bought that because it was commonly being said as one of the the best Marvel series that was out for a while. And actually, I had started reading the single issues. I started reading single issues around Captain America, the Reborn miniseries or whatever, and then I went back and bought the omnibus. So I guess it wasn't completely blind, but I don't know. I feel like I educate myself too much to consider most of these things blind. And then the things that have been blind, I haven't read them yet. Like I haven't read Werewolf by Night, I haven't read Howard the Duck, and I haven't read any of the Kung Fu Omnis. So those were blind purchases, but I haven't read them yet.
Damn, do you have all the Kung Fu Omnis? Because that's a lot. That's like 4, right?
6 if you count the 2 Deadly Hands.
Holy shit, that's a huge blind buy, brother. What if you're like, dude, I hate this shit so much. Why did I get all 6 of them?
And I wind up selling 6 books.
Yeah, I guess. I always have a fear of that. I'm like, oh man, what if this book's really, really sucks?
Is
that it, Jess, or is there another question you want to take?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Because we have been on for almost 2 hours, and
I blame you and DeadPool and Riley.
I got some
and the phone call you got
and some reading to do.
Okay, one last question from Biggie Cheese because he's asked it twice, and I think it's a simple answer. Do the Eternals from Marvel have any good comics?
I've only read Neil Gaiman's run, and it was pretty solid. I think John Romita Jr. was on art. And then it became an ongoing that got canceled. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but Daniel Acuna was on artwork. I haven't read any of the Kirby stuff. I don't think Gabe had either when we asked him on Monday.
I haven't read any Eternals, but I feel like I've heard people say that the classic stuff that's in the long out of print omnibus is good stuff.
Okay, and Brian McCormick is reporting that Solo is 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's decent, but expect it to be a drama.
I
thought he was talking about the DC 12-issue artist anthology series for a second.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
That was great.
They had Darwin Cook. I saw a lot of those at a half price books.
I lost that in the flood. I still haven't replaced that.
Dude, go to your half price books and wait for those 50% off sales because I've seen plenty. Like they bought a bunch. Or Ollie's. Didn't Ollie's have them?
Probably. They had a lot of DC stuff.
Yeah, I think they had the DC Solo book, dude. You should have said something. There's like been numerous people going to Ollie's. Must not have been top priority for you, like your titty books.
My titty book.
Top priority.
Yes, Jess had a list, and he's like, "I must replace these titty books."
I didn't lose any of those. Those are all on the top shelf.
Those are
Nobody
the
can
ones.
them.
Those are the ones that his wife had to go swim and get. He was like, "Get those!"
No, those
Just
are
grabbed those as the water was coming in. He was like, "The titty books, the titty books."
those are in the box marked "Call Omar."
Yes. Oh man.
Okay, so let's wrap up with InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Loyalty discounts add on 2 to 3%. Every quarter, there will be an Omnibros discount. They have free shipping for orders over $50 in the United States. Fabulous packaging and fabulous customer service. That's InStockTrades.com. So, Omar, where
Yes,
can
sir.
they find you this coming Tuesday when you're going to be giving away all that good swag?
That's right. I will be. I'll be giving away that Deadpool Omnibus, that signed Michael Turner comic, couple lightsaber, giving away lightsaber, some Amazon Echo Dots, and a couple other
What?
things.
You're
Yeah, man.
giving away all that stuff?
It's our fan appreciation episode, so it's like it's our 100th episode that we've been doing together because we've been doing it for 2 years. So it's on my channel, Near Mint Condition, at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, next Tuesday, which is what is that? May 29th. May 29th. Yes.
Holy guacamole, that's a must-see episode.
It must be. Like, we're just gonna ask questions and kind of like what we do here with the gift card. We'll just see who answers first, putting into a raffle, and winner chicken dinner.
Fun.
So yeah, it's a So that's again Near Mint Condition. This is Omar. Riley, where can they find you?
Can they find you?
Probably not.
Didn't you have
be
a
on
one
the-
video a week challenge, right? You started the one video a week challenge at the beginning of the year.
And then I made one video and I didn't do any more.
So you're on one video a year challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably do some more stuff. But every time I want to do a video, something comes up and I'm like, well, I should probably do this before I make that video. And then I don't make the video.
Okay.
And OmniDog, what about you? Where can they find you?
They can find me on YouTube on OmniDog's Vault, and I'm going to, I swear, this weekend start posting stuff again on Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault, which I haven't posted on in about a month, but I got some really cool stuff like this Venom Pool pop, so I need to post it.
What the hell? And they can find all three of us on the Facebook group, which is
the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. Show up and you can be banned by me like I've done 6 straight days.
I was gonna mention, like,
Have you really
can
banned
find me
that?
not there.
Damn, Jess.
Yeah, Jess is the banhammer king. I always miss everything.
Apparently.
Like, I'll be at work and I'll sit down for my lunch break and check the chat, and they're all like sharing screenshots about some fucker who was saying stupid shit, and I'm like, damn it, I missed it again.
It's been on almost a week now. It started last Friday and it's been nonstop.
Someone's just letting in the riffraff.
Gosh.
I think that's Jess. He's doing that on purpose just so he can ban him because that's how he gets his rocks off.
I'm not allowed. I let in a couple of poor posters, and I'm not allowed to let people in anymore as an admin. I had my privileges revoked like last summer.
Yeah, it's been a while. Usually it turns out to be Sherlock that lets in the bad ones. I think that in the same way that I'm like 14 for 14 on my recommendations, I'm like 0 for 0 or whatever on letting in bad members.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, like I've every member I've looked at or I've let into the group has been positive. So
not the son of the Prince of Nigeria. All right. Well, this was fun, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the chat. Always.
Thank you,
always
chat. It was a good chat tonight. Appreciate it.
Lionheart, he kind of answered that earlier. He said he might try to do another video a week challenge. Maybe.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I just need to get my shit together.
Get your shit together. You should do a video on that. Just call it "Get My Shit Together."
I keep thinking that my amount of responsibility at work is gonna decline, and it doesn't. And like, I'm getting more and more responsibilities, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, I also want to get more money and get promoted, so I just accept it. So that kind of affects why I only really do this with you guys. I still read a lot of shit though, so I could I just need to get on a Saturday or Sunday, just sit there and be like, fuck it, I'm making a video.
You know what you should do? You should do a collab video with Jess. He's always on YouTube, so you guys can talk about comic books and just put it on your channel.
That'd be a good idea.
There you go.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing. We also have a podcast on iTunes. You can listen to this show while you're driving to work. That's it for tonight. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Good night, everybody.
Adios.